Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Kobe Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Kobe Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Kobe, this week have been interesting. We did have one shooting, but before I get to it, I'm kind of just overwhelmed with the Donald Trump fever. It's like is there a needle we can take to inoculate us from this Donald Trump fever that's going? This man is doing any and everything he wants to do.
I think when the Supreme Court ruled that during a term of a president that they have a blanket immunity to the law, pretty much, Donald Trump waited until he got back in office and said, okay, I'm in. I'm going to push every limit that I possibly can. And that's exactly what he's been doing for these last 9 months. I
mean, from a DM message, went to social media, saying things out loud, not caring. I mean, what will put a stop to this?
I mean, you look at this. This is almost like what Nixon did. It's a lot worse than what Nixon did.
Yes.
And you would think that no one would politically target their rivals and get away with it when you saw Nixon have to step down and resign from that. But then comes along Donald Trump, who said pretty much, I could do whatever. I'm going to do whatever. I don't like this person. I'm going to use the full force of the federal government to go after them. You're seeing it. You're seeing him target black cities. You're seeing him target black elected officials. You're seeing him target Tish James in New York, Alan Brigg in New York, going after different black mayors. And now he's even going after the former FBI director.
Right, yeah. We're going to talk about that later too.
Comey. So again, you're seeing all this happen. You're seeing him want to go after senators and representatives who voted to impeach him. It is egregious to see this happening in the highest office in the land, and that office will never be the same because of Donald Trump.
Yeah, and I want to make a statement, and I want to look right in the camera, and I'm going to say this. This is not Kobe speaking. This is me. I don't have any political future. And I'm not going to say a name, but while the gentleman who was just assassinated in the Republican Party, we do not in any way embrace, endorse, or support the assassination of any. We have felt the hurt, the pain, and the grief of one of our leaders being assassinated. And I want to make sure I just take this moment to say that my heart goes out to his family, his children, his wife, and we certainly do not agree with allowing anybody to assassinate a person based on their beliefs. We believe in the First Amendment right. People have a right to speak their own truth, even if it is not the truth. I do want to add to this. Let us not get it twisted. What this gentleman represented was really racism to another level. While they said he had open dialogue and he believed in open speech, yes, but what was he speaking? And what he was speaking, for them to talk about, they want to give him the Nobel Prize, they want to name a holiday after him. I disagree. Let us not get confused. Let us not get drunk on the fact that this gentleman degraded everything in humanity that was not white or a part of his belief system. His purpose, in my opinion, for doing all of this debating was to get his agenda out there even stronger. So I don't agree with, the assassination. I wish that had never happened. He has a right to say what he wants to say, but we have a right to say what we want to say. And what I want to say is he was a racist. And then we have to begin to understand that. And we have to begin to look at it for real, for what it is. And I wanted to say that, Kobe, not putting you in this, because it's been in my heart. And I told you as we came on the set today, I went to bed a little upset yesterday because the common sense is being lost in all of this. The common sense with Donald Trump just running rapid with this gentleman who was assassinated. People are trying to make him a martyr, where he was the greatest thing that ever happened to America. This is not fair. But I'm going to stand on, and I'm going to be very clear, so my show won't get canceled. Oh, I forgot I paid for mine. But so my show won't get canceled. That the truth of the matter is, he was no nice guy when it comes down to people of the minority status, whether you be a part of the gay community. He just had no empathy for anything that did not align up with his thoughts. And that is not the God I serve, does not work that way. And I don't think humanity should treat each other in a way where we demonize people based on their beliefs. If you want to believe that, you have that will. You have that right. You can believe what you want to believe. I don't have a right to demonize you because of what you believe. And I'm a pastor saying that. So Colby, let's jump over before I get too excited and too mad and too angry, which I guess I'm already. Let's talk a little bit about this local news, and then we'll keep moving on. But we did have a shooting last Sunday over in Eden Park. A lot of children, the young people were there. What do you know about it?
Yeah, so it was a football game from an outside league going on. It was the Newcastle Jaguars hosting the Upland Hurricanes, and around 3:30 there were shots that rung out while the kids were at halftime. A young man, 36 years old, Lamar Massa, was shot and killed, 5 times shot. Dozens and dozens of children and parents and spectators went fleeing. A ton of calls came into Wilmington police. They said that the shooter approached him, shot him, and then left. No one else was harmed. But again, it's a very frightening time, especially with so many young kids out there as well too. And the police are looking for any information on the case.
Now, there's cameras in that area. I wonder if they got that on camera at all. They have not revealed any of that in the public, but I wonder if they have that on camera, because to my understanding, you said 5 times he was shot. So that was targeted very strongly.
Yes.
So he wasn't looking for anybody but that one person, if he didn't harm anyone else, quite natural. And now, do you know whether or not this gentleman was a part of the football coaching team, or was he just a spectator?
I think he was a parent.
He was just a parent. Yeah. Okay. Well, our hearts and our prayers and thoughts are certainly with that family at this time, because no one wants a loss. As we were just sharing with even the brother, we don't want to see anyone slain or hurt, but we certainly will be praying for the family who have to now live with this for time to come. We also had another incident that happened, on not off too far from the Northeast Boulevard, where a driver struck a pedestrian who was under the influence and killed the pedestrian. What do you know about that one?
Yeah, so in the 1100 block of Northeast Boulevard, around 9:20 Thursday night, a 21-year-old was hit by a 31-year-old driver who was under the influence of alcohol. The 31-year-old's name is Jose Avila Medina. He was taken into custody without incident and charged with vehicular homicide, DUI, and other traffic offenses as well too. And he's being held in custody until his trial.
Yeah, and I can't remember, and I told you before we got started that I've read somewhere where he may have had several of this same violation. We can't verify that yet, so this is not a fact. But I thought I read when I was looking at this case where this is not his first time being found with a DUI. But let me just say this to you. It only takes one time for a life to be lost. And what we are hoping for is that everyone would please recognize the fact that when you're drinking, be responsible and allow somebody else. Now his life is totally shattered because somebody else's life have been ended. Yep. And we have to be sensitive to both areas. But I do want to make sure that we tell you to please think about it. And some of these establishments like bars and things of that nature, they need to do something with, if they know a person is drunk and they're driving, they need to be able to handle it. Not saying they go outside and see who all leaving with who, but there has to be some responsibility where you need to chill out. You've drank enough or something of that nature. But I don't know. You're one of drinkers. So you tell me, what do y'all do when y'all drink too much?
No, so they should be cutting people off at a certain limit. Especially there's some identifiers, slurring of their speech. Also, you can tell by their eyes if their eyes are getting heavy and stuff, the body movements and stuff. There should be police presence out. We know that they have a ton of police presence out in Trolley Square to try to cut down on that, but throughout the rest of the city, it's not paid attention
Oh,
to.
because that wasn't Charlie Square area.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so
That was
because
Northeast
if
Boulevard.
that was Charlie Square area, you probably got caught before something happened. I see.
Yeah.
I caught what you was just dishing out. But we hope that we get more cops out to be able to start stopping some of these cars that are looking like they are under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Another area that kind of troubled me, and I don't know whether this is a fun area or not, because I don't know a whole lot about it, but Wilmington Police Sergeant, he's charged with assault where he slapped a woman down at the riverfront. Allegedly, she spat on him. And now he's filed a lawsuit to against the chief because the chief did not follow union rules. Help me understand this one.
So we talked about this case back in July when it finally came out about it. It happened actually in 2024.
Okay.
But he was not indicted until this year, and then he was placed on leave. They did an internal investigation where they found him guilty of doing exactly what the woman had claimed, which was slapping her while she was handcuffed. So I believe the chief took the right steps and terminated him. He is saying he has a right as an officer because of the Law Enforcement Bill of Rights that in the FOP contract that he has to have due process. Well, this is what we've been talking about for years now, that there is a added layer of protections for police officers that's not there for anyone else, not fire department, not EMS, not anyone else, maybe the president, that they keep getting away with things. He is on video, body camera, slapping someone who's defenseless, hands are behind their back. I don't care what happens at that point. That person's in your custody, your responsibility. You cannot abuse them. We saw a case like this happen a few years ago where a 16-year-old girl was dragged by the handcuffs by a Newcastle County police officer, but because of his union contract and because he was so close to his date to receive his full pension, they delayed the investigation by 6 months so he could reach his pension mark. Then he retired before he could be fired so that he still gets his pension no matter what. So this is the type of incidents that we keep seeing when dealing with the FOP.
Yeah, I remember when you first came on the show about 5 or 6 years ago. You kept talking about their rules and how they make them to fit as if they're all kings. And I could not really understand why you were so against it, but as we move through these years, I'm seeing they're so protected that they can just about violate anybody's rights and do what they want to do based on the fact that they have union protection or some kind of agreement with the state or the city. And I think that's just not good. When a person is arrested, then take them in. Nothing else should be a problem. If she spat on him, and as nasty as that is, as much as I disagree with that, that's another charge she would get. Yeah. And I'm almost willing to bet you he gave her that charge too. But he did not give himself the charge of hitting her or striking her and things of that nature. So I just think that we need to be very mindful of that. And I'm just not happy. I want to end our segment today with Delaware State University. I am so proud of Delaware State University. I mean, I remember my days there as dean of students. It was a great university then. It is really getting national recognition. They have been ranked in the top 5 among the public HBCUs and for the historically Black colleges and university. So, what can we say? Yeah. So, I mean, they're number 10 overall for the ninth year in a row for all HBCUs. And just for people, there's 101 HBCUs still open, even though they are fighting to close them very rapidly. 47 of those are public universities. So of those 47, DSU ranks number 4. That is a huge accomplishment.
The only ones that rank higher that are public are Florida A&M University, North Carolina A&T University, and Morgan State University. So another kind of local one in the area as well too. And then it's DSU.
All of them. Matter of fact, next week, I will be going down to visit our executive minister. Her daughter is at North Carolina A&T, and I'm taking her to dinner next week because I've got a party in North Carolina. I need to go to my family, and the executive assistant in our office. She served at her intern. She's at Morgan right now. I'll be going down to be with her. So it's like wonderful to hear that the top schools we're still connected to very closely, even though we love all our HBCUs, but this is awesome.
Yeah, it's home. It's home. So again, congratulations to Tony Allen and the team there, who is doing amazing work. DSU is 134 years.
I can't remember exactly what
I think they just celebrated their 130 and 21. So like 134, 135 years old. And again, I believe this year they broke their record for student enrollment as well too, with thousands of students joining that community this year. So again, hats off to everyone. Keep up the amazing work. And also shout out to the football team, Coach Jackson and them. We're getting ready for the October 27th game, I believe, or October 30th game. You know, it's gonna be a great game. That Delaware is gonna beat Virginia. I have a lot of friends from the Virginia area who's chatting already. So again, Coach Jackson is on a 3-game winning streak right now. So hopefully he keeps the momentum up. He's really turned that program around. They have more wins this year than if you put their last 2 seasons together.
Yeah, and let's see, going against two black coaches from the Eagles. And it's going. Wait, both of them are from from the Eagles, and they're going to be playing down there where the Eagles play at. And I've been here. A lot of my members are saying they're going to be there. I'm planning to decide whether I'm going to. I'm not an outdoor sports person, but I'm looking forward to that game. That's going to be really good to some bragging rights.
Yeah.
The former dean at Norfolk, when I was serving as dean at Delaware State, have been in communication with me, and we're betting each other who's going to win. I'm almost certain that Del State is going to come through. They're going to come through very strong. I want to also send a special hats off to Tony Allen, because I often equate a lot of things to the Bible, and when the Bible says without a vision the people perish, and honestly, Del State has always been a great school. I'm not going to deny that. Under Dr. DeLauder, who I was serving under. Then we had other great presidents, Mashu, many others who were just great, decent men who have done well for Delaware State University. But to take the school from its small excellence to its giant excellence is really a lot of tribute to the visionary doing of Tony Allen. And I want to give a shout out. You know, we know that there have been some struggles that may have occurred, but through it all, he's been able to really give Delaware State recognition that I don't think no one else has ever done. He should go down in history as being one of the greatest presidents, and in the amount of time that he served. I mean, Mashu stayed there for years and years and years. Dr. DeLauder stayed there for years and years and years, and for the short amount of time, making history and buying a historically white college, and taking it over and doing what they got to do has been just phenomenal. And I'm very grateful to call him a friend. I can call him on the phone at any point. He always responds and tell me, you can talk to me. You don't have to talk to all the other folks. So good job to Tony. And I hope that he continue his success at Delaware State. And to all the students at Delaware State, take pride in where you are. You are standing on great soil. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
With the first did Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
Join us live for our weekly worship. Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Facebook, and YouTube.
Well, Pastor, I'm doing the best I can, but I still gotta have a little Chardonnay, and I still gotta have a little this, and I gotta still sneak around. The devil is a liar. That's an excuse.
Wilmington's most exciting church.
It's good to see you. It's so great to be with everyone again.
Yeah, it is.
How have you been?
I'm not good. I haven't been good. The truth is, for a while now, I feel like I've been stuck in a dark place. I can't remember feeling happy. No one really hears me, you know? I'm good. Yeah, things are good.
That's good.
Life can throw a lot at us, but what helps us through it is knowing we have a place where we feel loved, grounded, and safe. A place where we belong. A place called home. But for thousands of youth living on the streets, there's no such thing as home. Out here, it's a predatory world that can destroy lives forever. At Covenant House, we care for homeless and at-risk youth, working in communities just like yours, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here, these kids will get a shower, clean clothes, nourishing meals, and a safe place to sleep. Our caring staff teach life skills, offer stability, and encourage kids to believe in themselves so they stay off the streets for good. We're committed to giving lost, scared, and hurting children a place to go, a place to call home. To help or get help, go to safeplacetosleep.org.
And we're back. Kobe, what's going on with the Kobe Corner this week?
Yeah, so first I want to start off talking about we are back in a budget situation on the federal level. The Trump administration just continues to pass the buck down. They're now trying to pass another continuing resolution, which means they would pretty much agree to fund the government for a few more months while they still work on the budget. Now the Trump Budget Office is telling agencies to draft that under Doge that they fired a bunch of people to start reaching out to some of those people because they can't get the job done with the shorthand staff that they have, especially as they're trying to avert a government shutdown within the next week or so.
Could you, wait, I know you only got a little bit of time. Repeat, are you saying to me that they have to now call back some of the people they cut because they really don't have the intellectual ingenuity to be able to put a budget together?
Yes, especially in the departments where they did loyalty tests to see who was a true MAGA Knight. I guess they're just not cut out enough to actually get the job done. Don't you say the MAGA folks ain't qualified enough, you get thrown off the air. But he's asking them to return to their job, and then if we go into a shutdown, that they'll be furloughed until the government opens back up. But this is to try to address some of the backlog work. It is insane, their thinking, their reasoning. But again, this is the Trump administration. This is the Trump way. And this is an issue that we're seeing not just in their budget office, but almost in every single department. HUD, all HUD, health, all of them are having issues right now. And I think, again, it just highlights the dysfunction that is happening in that administration right now. We know that our federal representatives and senators are fighting, but at the end of the day, it's only so much you can do when you're still in that minority party. And unfortunately, we're in a minority in both houses.
Yeah, and let me ask you a question before you go to your next thing about that minority piece. Right now, you have another Democrat who won an election.
Yes.
How many does that put us in the Congress?
So that makes it a 220 to 215 split right now, or 214 split. Once there's Texas special election still out there, and I believe it's one more. Both should go Democratic and fill those seats. Again, we had 3 members passed away recently. One in Virginia, one in Texas, and one in Arizona, which put us down 3 Democrats. And the one who won in Arizona's 3rd district was a state representative who was also the daughter of the congressman who passed away. And she won by a large margin. Trump was on Social Truth, I forget the name of it, leading up to it, saying that because Charlie Kirk was killed and he was from Arizona, that it was going to be a huge bump and Republicans were going to flip this seat. She won with 76% of the vote.
Oh, Lord.
Even better than the last time her dad ran. So again, it didn't help. But my next point, I wanted to talk about the homeless task force. The recommendations will be voted on September the 30th, and then sent to the city council and to the mayor on their findings. Also out there, the Newark City Council recently took a trip down to Georgetown to visit the Springboard, Delaware Pallet Village that they have down there. Everyone is looking at what they can do when it comes to housing and affordability and homelessness right now. Again, all the cities throughout Delaware are experiencing mass homelessness right now. Again, it comes from a lack of investment into that, especially here in Wilmington, where we had a mayor who cared more about high-end luxury apartment buildings than he did about the residents who actually lived here. And if you actually go out and talk to some of the people who are on the street right now, when I do my volunteering, whether it's giving out socks or giving out food to them, you do have some people who have been there for a long time. You do have some people who have had mental health issues, but you have some people who, again, they were priced out of where they were living. They couldn't afford to live there any longer. And then because they didn't have somewhere to clean up and freshen up, they were released from their job and now they can't get back on their feet. Now they struggle to get assistance because now they've lost their ID or lost their social security card, or when their landlord kicked them out, they took all the documents and just threw it in the trash, not even giving a person an opportunity to get their personal items and keep that in a protective area. So again, as we continue to navigate this space and look at how we can do better as a society and as a city, I think it's going to be important for us to also look at who we can partner with as well too, that will show some compassion, because there's individuals out there who have none, but you have to show compassion when it comes to working with this community, this very vulnerable community. And one of the things that we notice also is the average lifespan is about 20 years shorter for someone experiencing homelessness versus someone who is not. So the average lifespan is about 50 years old for someone who's experiencing homelessness. So again, we have to do better up here in Newcastle County, talking with my colleagues from Newark, from Middletown, even from the Arden area as well too, about some of the issues that we're seeing in our communities and bouncing ideas off of one another.
Wow.
So I know people had concerns about
Right.
some of the recommendations that Wilmington had in their task force. I don't agree with everything in the task force report. I was a task force member, but again, that's democracy.
I think it's a shift. I think a shift is needed in our thinking. While it is nuisance, there is a nuisance when you see certain things happening, like a person who may be going through a mental decline, and they may be cussing and doing some of the crazy things. But when I'm sitting here listening to you, that's why I was quiet. I'm sitting here listening to you, how there are people who were really on their feet. They were doing well, but the economy hit them in a way where they couldn't afford to do.
Yep.
And I'm watching, and even in the congregation that I pastor, there are people who just don't have anymore. And how we help them matters. And if we have not helped them and they find themselves out there, how do they get back on their feet?
Yeah.
So instead of us always having this non-tolerant attitude, like, okay, get rid of them, hide them, put them in an alley, why not find a way to put a nice portion of that budget towards getting them back on their feet? Everybody's not out trying to get a scheme or a scam. Some people legitimately have lost their way. They need help. So when I'm sitting here listening to you, I just felt so bad in that moment that there are people who would dare roll up their nose and snuff up their nose to say that, oh, we don't need them. We don't need them in our downtown. We don't need them in this place. And the former mayor was big on get rid of them. And they just opened up a luxury apartment down the press, I guess you call it, or something like that. It's unbelievable. I'm not going to take up all your time, but this is unbelievable.
That was under-evaluated. That extra tax money could be going to pay for services for our most vulnerable community. But again, that's what you have to focus on, and you need someone who's in that executive office who has more compassion than our former mayor did. And then also you need a council that's willing to roll up their sleeves and get things done and do it in a way that you're still being fiscally responsible, but also showing compassion for the community. And there is a way to do it. We've seen it done in other cities, other states throughout this nation. It's just time for Delaware to wake up and start doing the same as well too. And another thing that I wanted to talk about today is school board elections.
Yeah.
So, I always talk about it in May. But what we're seeing nationwide is an attack on school board and local races right now, where ultra-right MAGA Republicans are targeting these seats to try to erase the history of our communities. They don't want it taught. And here in Delaware, school boards have a lot of say over the curriculum that is being taught in our schools. So I think it is important for us to start paying attention to who's running in our nominating districts, but then also who we are voting for. Because here in Delaware, even though we have nominating districts, you could be from district A, B, C, whatever, everyone in the school district votes. And these last two cycles in 2024 and 2023, in the Black community, we had horrible turnout. I'm talking about less than 500 Black people voting in certain areas where there's are tens and thousands of Black people living. So we have to make sure that our voices are heard. And this is something that over the next few months, I'm really going to talk about more about how we can take hold of our power. Then also, if you know people who do not live in the city of Wilmington, make sure that they are getting registered to vote, but not just through the state. Here in Delaware, we have municipalities that require you to register with your local city or town, and they don't use the state registration. Therefore, you may have a city of, let's say, 22,000 people like Middletown, and you have a mayor who keeps winning with only 300 votes. he wins because the vast majority of people in the town are not registered to actually vote on their standalone election date. He's been in office longer than I've been alive. And that Middletown is suffering right now. Middletown, yeah, they have nice houses down there, but they're if you look at their budget, they're struggling. You have places like that all throughout Delaware that we need to make sure that we as Black people are making sure our voices are being heard, and that we are getting involved in those races, whether it's municipality or school board races. And then, of course, next year is the big midterm, where we have all 41 Delaware State House seats up. We have half of the state Senate up, half of the Newcastle County is up, half of Levy Court is up, and half of Sussex County Council is up as well too. So we have to make sure that we understand who is representing us and making sure that we're registered to vote in our own communities as well. And speaking of democracy, on October 18th, there will be another No Kings protest throughout this nation. There is one being planned here in Wilmington, Delaware, and we'll put that flyer up on the screen. Again, it is time for us to take action. We are seeing our democracy slowly erode right in front of our eyes. We're seeing maps being changed in order to help a tyrant hold on to power in the White House because he knows he is going to lose the House. They are trying to attack U.S. senators, not because they did anything wrong, but because they voted against them or was a impeachment manager against them when he was impeached not once but twice. So he's going after Adam Schiff in California. This is what we're dealing with right now. And we as Americans, this nation has never been a nation that has shown compassion and love to the Black community, but it's also a nation that I would not want to be. I would not want to leave. I'm not going anywhere else because there is a document that says I have rights. So it doesn't matter if you think I don't have rights. I'm going to use that document and fight for my rights no matter what. And I need our community to start fighting again as well too. I'm tired. You're tired. We're all tired. This fight, and I love being in spaces sometimes, but I get annoyed as well when I hear, oh, we've never seen something like this before. I have. My mom has. My grandparents have. My great-grandparents have. Should I keep going back to when we came over on the boats? Because we didn't get to see Ellis Island. We didn't get the flag waving. We didn't get the confetti in the air and everything. We got the shackles that were rusted. We got the lashes, the whips, the push to the edge. That's what we got. So we have always fought. From the moment we stepped on this land over here, we've had to fight. And we're going to continue to fight. I know our bodies are tired, but our souls have to be re-energized as we continue to walk forward. We have to walk in the footsteps of our ancestors, but also create a society that's better for our future. And right now, it is not looking too good. It is not looking too good. You have political violence that's sparking up. You had a white conservative Republican MAGA Trump donor shoot and kill Charlie Cook. And the first thing that happened was 6 HBCUs were targeted. Black politicians throughout this nation were targeted. It had nothing to do with us. It had nothing to do with immigrants. But yet that's who the narrative was put out. Even the FBI director, a man who is a minority himself, targeted other minorities knowing he had information of what the real shooter looked like. But it didn't fit their narrative. So again, we're in dangerous times right now. But this is the time in which we show how strong us as a Black community, how strong our foundation is, because for over 400 years, they have been trying to break our souls. For over 249 years as a nation, they have been trying to break our souls, and they have not been able to do it. And I can guarantee you, I'm not going to let someone who sprays tans with Cheeto dust to break my soul or break our community, because we've been through this before and we can continue to fight.
I like that what you just shared, in that we have always been a part of a struggle. You talked about since we stepped foot on the shores, but even when crossing the Atlantic Ocean, many of us had, when I say us, I mean our people, were pushed into that ocean. Some alive, some dead. Some had to live through the dead stench and everything else. And people don't want that taught, because it's like, y'all just want to remember the old day, back in the day. Haven't we been good to you? No, we had to fight for everything we have. And I think it's worth continuously talking about so that people won't go to sleep. That's why I opened up the show today the way I did. We want to give this person a hero salute. He's the greatest since sliced bread. No, we did not want him to be assassinated. No, absolutely not. However, he did not represent our values. He did not represent what we believe. Matter of fact, he was against everything that we believe. So I hear what you're saying. And yes, there is a sense of people being tired. They're just worn out. But you said something else that was very key. Other folks can say it, and when they say it, it's just because you're just experiencing it. Some of us have been in this struggle for a very, very long time. I want to, because even this whole Tylenol thing, can I just, I got anything else on your list before I go there?
No, go ahead.
Even the Tylenol thing. I mean, you got a crazy president who just went from drinking bleach, telling you to drink bleach, to now tough it out women if you're pregnant because your child is going to have, what is it called? If it's closely
Autism.
Connected to autism.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even pronounce half the words he was saying there. What is going on with him and this Tylenol thing? Does he have any?
Yeah, so what they're pushing as the alternative to Tylenol is owned by iHerb, which is I forget the proper name for it, but the company that creates it is iHerb, which is owned by who? Dr. Oz. One of his political cronies who he endorsed for U.S. Senate when he ran against John Fetterman. Someone who he has put into his administration as well, to trying to continue to line the pockets of his friends on this. So again, that's what we're seeing right now, is Donald Trump and them making money off of the office of the presidency without any facts. Again, there was actually a lawsuit and research tying Tylenol to autism, and it lost in court. Again, there was no definitive proof that was a correlation there. But again, it won Donald Trump's ear.
Because of his friend, though. He wanted to line his friend's pocket. I want y'all to hear things like that. And another thing, why shouldn't we be offended? And I'm glad he didn't do it to Barack. But why shouldn't we be offended when you go down this President's Hall of Fame and you're walking down, you're seeing all the presidents of the United States. You get to Biden's picture and you see an auto pen.
Yeah.
Why would we not be offended?
Because Donald Trump is one of the most pettiest, childish, grown adults you will ever meet. And for him to put that up there, you just have to laugh. That's just how immature he is. You are a multimillionaire, because you're not a billionaire, really. Multimillionaire, you have the gift of gab. You can get almost anything you want. You became president. You purchased the presidency the first time. Then you had to go and get a loan from Elon Musk for the second time. You knew you couldn't beat Barack Hussein Obama. So why are you still acting so childish? You got everything. You got everything. Even though Biden didn't like you, he still did all the respectable things. Trump cannot return that favor because he's a child.
I've never seen anybody with such thin skin.
Yeah.
I mean, he can dish it out so strongly, but he has such thin skin. And when I saw that, I said, that's a disgrace. And I'm offended. I am offended that. But if he would have done that, if that would have been Barack, he did some crazy. I think I would have been beyond offended.
Oh yeah.
But I just feel really bad, and we're gonna at some point we're gonna talk a little bit about that because Kamala Harris's book did reveal some things that at some point we want to get into and talk about, because some of those revelations were interesting, and I had some curiosity that I believed them before she even talked about it. But we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about James Comey and him getting indicted, because it hasn't happened yet. It might have happened by the time of the airing of the show, but Donald Trump just won't let him go because he's so thin-skinned. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
One more time before you wake up in the wild. In your eyes, I see a flower slowly dying.
Together with the Nature Conservancy, you have the power to make a difference. For unspoiled nature, for beautiful wildlife, and for people everywhere. Together, we can find a way to ensure that all life on Earth can thrive.
Oh, in the wild, you're gonna make it. The moonlight is here to take you.
Our natural world needs us now. Every day, we lose more lands, waters, and the wild species that depend on them. To learn more, visit nature.org today.
Christopher Holton. I'm very active. It was a Saturday morning. Normally I go for my normal walk.
With no warning, Chris suffered a near-fatal heart attack. But thankfully, Brian Buckley, a bystander, saw him collapse and rushed to help.
He did this big gasp for air and then just stopped. It's like I went into autopilot. It's like all that training I did back in the day around CPR just magically came out of nowhere.
Because of the CPR training that Brian received, Chris did make it and didn't die on the trail that day. CPR training provided by the American Heart Association.
Looking at your hands, these two hands could save a life.
Being a father, you want to be around. You want to be around for your kids.
Heart disease is America's #1 killer. To learn more about how the American Heart Association helps save lives, go to helpheart.org.
Pastor and Lady Curry's 20th pastoral anniversary is here, and we're pulling out all the stops to make it our most exciting celebration yet. Join us this December as we commemorate 20 years of powerful, compassionate preaching.
That's why you lift up your head. Don't let your critics get the last word. They think you're gonna go under. But baby, you better be like the energizing bunny. You better keep going. Don't give up. Don't give out. Don't stop. Keep going.
No demon in hell can abort the promise and purpose that God has for one. Oh man, y'all sleeping on me today. But God is saying there are others who went through what you went through, and they did not survive it.
And the caring stewardship Dr. and Lady Curry have provided to the church throughout the years through counseling, ministry, prayer, fellowship, and so much more. Don't miss your chance to celebrate 2 decades of loving leadership this December 1st through 7th, and to hear from our 5 amazing guest speakers. And our incredible musical guests, Karen, Kiara, and Twinkie Clark. So join us December 1st through 6th for our sermon series, and get ready to look your finest for our Black Tie Gala on December 7th at the Chase Center. Tickets are available now. See you there, Zion Fair.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
This land we love belongs to all of us. Yet not everyone is treated equally. Right now, millions of Americans are fighting for the things promised to all by the Constitution: freedom, justice, equality. The ACLU is leading the fight to protect our civil liberties. Together, we can protect and advance our rights nationwide. Because we the people means all of us.
This land was made for you and me.
Learn how the ACLU is defending the right to vote, free speech, and other civil liberties at myaclu.org.
And we're back. Kobe, we don't have a whole lot of time, but James Comey, now, he's no friend to know anyone, okay? No. He gave Donald Trump the election the first time, but he did not stay in Donald Trump's good graces too long.
Right.
Why is Donald Trump's skin so thin that he's like possessed with, we gotta get him on charges?
Yeah, I mean, he is upset because he believes that, again, James Comey, Tish James from the AG in New York, Adam Schiff, who was in Congress at the time, now U.S. Senator, that the trio of them are responsible for him being indicted. He said 5 times, it was 4, and impeached twice. He blames these 3 and he wants political payback. That's at the end of the day, that's all this is. He has no merit on any of his cases. You've seen the district attorneys, not district attorneys, U.S. attorneys, in Virginia and in New York. The one in New York would not bring charges against Tish James, so Trump put so much pressure on him, he resigned.
Right.
Virginia, I believe, their interim U.S. attorney has also resigned. So again, he's going to pit people there that will do his political.
Does Trump understand that there's an ethical law that these lawyers have to follow, even if they are on his team?
No, because it's the Trump law.
Right, but I think the reason why, because if they didn't have a law, if they could not risk losing their license, they may try to go ahead and do some of this stuff. But because that is hinged there and people are watching to see if they're going to violate what they are not supposed to do, because they got to live beyond Trump. And I don't think Trump understands that, because he don't believe in loyalty 2 ways. He just one way: you help me or you done. But I just can't understand why he just won't let none of them go, and they can't find anything on them.
Yeah.
But I guess he feels if you indict him, we can bankrupt him.
I guess, but I mean, they did reduce his financial payback that he had to pay back in New York. But other than that, and he's taken that as a huge win, and that's why he can go after Tish James. He's, again, going after Comey, saying he's guilty, even though his own attorney general is saying, we have no charges. Like, the case lacks charges. But just like he did in Georgia in 2020, where he wanted them to find votes, he wants them to find something and pit something in. I think we're starting to get into a very dangerous space where they will start fabricating fake evidence to start taking out political figures.
I think we're already in that phase, because even with the bullet having anti-ICE on it, and didn't shoot any ICE officers, but shot only the foreigners, I think we're already in that. And I don't trust nothing that comes out of that out of the White House, out of none of the branches, because it's just really whatever the king says, we do. And y'all can ready to do a little march, and the king will still do what he want to do because he got immunity.
Got to fight back.
Oh,
you got to bring the energy. You got to make sure people are fired up for this midterm election, so that we can flip these seats, so that we can create more of a barrier of defense against the Trump administration here in Delaware. There's still constitutional amendments that we can't flip, which is key and critical. Mike Smith and Kevin Hensley are 2 of the last remaining Republicans in Newcastle County who have voted against strengthened voting rights laws here in Delaware, and strengthened civil rights laws here in Delaware as well too. So I think by that notion alone, they got to go. They got to be voted out.
Well, what do you think the midterms is looking like now? We ask that every week.
Again, the midterms are still looking decent for the Democrats to at least flip one chamber. Again, I think if anything, the Senate could end up in a 50-50 split. There's good candidates running, but again, it's all about messaging, is getting to local people and how they're feeling with the economy. They're feeling with healthcare now that Medicaid and Medicare is being impacted, and SNAP benefits as well too. So all that's going to play into how people end up voting.
So when we talked the last time, you were kind of feeling kind of good that even with him moving those 5 seats, and not sure they were going to go his way, but just let's say they did, that we still would probably be able to take the House. When I say we, I mean the Democrats.
Yeah, because even with moving those 5 seats in towards Republicans in Texas, one of those seats are still pretty competitive. And Utah, their state Supreme Court just ruled that they have to redo their maps out there because they divided a county into Salt Lake City into 3 different districts and have to pit it back together, which creates another Democratic seat. And then also in Ohio, they have to redo their lines out there, which could create 1 additional Democratic seat as well too. So again, you got 5, you got 2 coming back towards the Democrats' way. And who knows, with redistricting in California and New York potentially, it may be able to
still
level
moving
out.
forward with that?
They are, yes.
Okay.
So November the 4th, I believe California will vote on whether or not to move forward with their maps.
Who's going to win New York?
In regards to what?
Mayor.
I think Mudandi's going to win. Again, with Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo both staying in the race, they split their base.
Okay. And the we had a new congresswoman to be elected, not sworn in yet, but if she gets sworn in, not if, when she gets sworn in, they will have their 218 signatures for the Epstein files to be released.
Correct.
But I don't want people to be deceived. There's a process to the releasing of the files. The Senate, not the Senate, the Congress would have said, okay, release it. But then it leaves the Congress and go to the Senate. Now, what do you think the chances are of them voting and saying?
So I believe it will be killed in the House because it's just not enough votes. You would not only need all the Democrats to vote for it, but you would also need, I think, 12 Republicans to flip over and vote.
In the House?
In the Senate.
In the Senate, okay.
In the House, again, it's going to get out if everyone holds true to their signature on it. And again, Gravella, the new congresswoman, she won't be sworn in until early October. I will say Mike Johnson did keep his promise of swearing members in as soon as the next day, as he did the 2 Republicans in Florida and the 1 in Virginia just earlier this month. But they're out of session until October 7th. So there's no actual convening of the House. So she will be sworn in when they come back October 7th.
Well, how are they out of session? Explain to those who are watching, how are they out of session when we get ready to have a close down and they got to work on the budget?
They have vacations already planned. You can't stop your vacation.
You can't, and I gonna get my check?
They still get paid. They still get paid.
That has to change too, for real.
So they're good.
Do you think it's going to be a shutdown?
I think it will be. The Republicans are dead set on making changes to Obamacare, which has helped millions, and the Democrats are fighting back. So because they can't find middle ground on that, there's been no agreement as of right now. But again, the leaders of both caucuses are meeting every day to try to work something out.
Why do you think Trump canceled his meeting with the Democrats?
Because he never had any intentions of actually meeting with them. He just wanted a good headline. People remember what goes out first, not what happens after.
Oh, so he's mastered that. Well, Kobe, we ain't got that much more time left today, and I just wanted to make sure I asked you all those wonderful questions so that we can continue to do what we got to do. But I want to take a moment also to say shout outs to the Shiloh Baptist Church here in Wilmington, Delaware. They celebrated, and today they're closing out their 150th church anniversary. 150 years they have been in existence. Now they have never been interrupted, and God has been faithful. I had the great opportunity, Kobe, to be one of their speakers on Wednesday night. E. Zion Fair went over with our choirs, and they have a brand new pastor. He's now about 2 years in now, Pastor Bland, and the great folks over there were. I'm just happy to say that they're the oldest Black Baptist church in the city of Wilmington.
Okay.
And they have done some tremendous things. And I say congratulations. Last night, they had their gala, and it was phenomenal. So again, on behalf of the total Zion Fair family, on behalf of the Source, we take this moment to congratulate, to salute a church that has been in the making, have done some great things for the last 150 years. Shiloh, hats off to you, and we wish you Godspeed in the future.
Congratulations, y'all.
Until the next time, God bless.
Take care.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Kobe Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.